All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hopefully everybody else can join in as soon as possible. So I just want to thank y'all for joining in for my first Fearless Money Budgeting for a Financial Breakthrough webinar. I'm so excited about this. I'm passionate about sharing knowledge and just seeing people do better and better themselves, especially financially, and also just to glorify God in their finances. So I'm excited about this. Raven, can you hear now? Because I see you put that you couldn't hear.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I'm gonna be sharing my screen with y'all. I don't want to think that I don't want y'all to think that I'm trying to hide, but I have some notes that I'm gonna follow. So I'm gonna share my screen with y'all. I do ask that y'all be interactive with me. I'm gonna pause every now and then, ask questions, or if you wanna chime in about something or whatever the case may be about something that I said, or if you want me to find out something for you or look up something, I am more than happy to do that. So I do want it to be interactive. I don't want to be like talking the whole entire time. So let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen with y'all. Let's see.
Nigga.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Hey. Okay. All right, so welcome to the Fearless Money Budgeting for Financial Breakthrough. I am Crystal Clayton. Y'all already know me. I'm so thankful for y'all, my birthing sisters, and thankful for Pastor Shonda for pushing me to do this. I'm excited about this. I really am, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these online and at physical locations. So I'm excited. So we're busting down financial barriers, overcoming money mindset blocks, and destroying poverty to release your money manifestation. Before I keep going, can y'all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
good.
All right.
Yes.
So a little bit about my Fearless Money journey and how Fearless Money started. Fearless Money was birthed from a place of frustration. I had to understand why I wasn't making money from the things that I was trying to do. And as most of you know, I'm always creating. My mind is always open. I have 1,000 tabs open all the time. So I've gone through the years of starting many things. And for a long time, I didn't understand why I wasn't manifesting, like why I wasn't seeing any fruit from what I was doing. So this was probably 2000, I don't want to say last year, 16. So maybe 2015, I started to become aware of the way that I was operating. And I realized that I was sabotaging myself as a result of my thoughts. Also, the fact that I wasn't seeking God like I was supposed to in my finances, and I wasn't seeking Him in the things that I was creating and trying to manifest. I was trying to control everything. So I was pretty much sabotaging myself. And then I realized I had to be fearless in all that I do in order to make money. So I had to feel the fear and do it anyway, just like I'm doing right now, which I don't feel fearful at all right now. So that's a good thing. All right. Oh, also, Fearless Money was birthed, I want to say late 2015, maybe early 2016. I was trying to backdate on some things. I couldn't find the exact date, but this is how Fearless Money started, just from something I was going through. So All right, so we're gonna jump into budgeting, which is so exciting. I hope you guys are excited, and we're gonna implement this budget. We're gonna get into it together. We're gonna hold each other accountable. So what is a budget? It is a path to a better life. The Webster Dictionary explanation is the amount of money that is available for, required for, or assigned to a particular purpose. So for example, a weekly budget for a family of 5, or another example is a budget of less than $3,000. So you are giving your money a purpose. You are telling your money where to go. You are telling your money what it is required to do. That's what a budget is. So in other words, if you don't have a budget, your money is budgeting you. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. So a budget is definitely not a trap or a setup for failure. It's not to restrict you from doing anything. It's a process and it's a journey. So when you do want to start your budget, don't think that, yes, you do have to make sacrifices, but don't think that you have to just stop everything altogether just because you decide to put a budget in place. So why do you need to budget? Having a budget allows you to fearlessly take control of your money. A budget is a roadmap to the financial life that you desire. You tell your money to where to go. Like I said, it doesn't tell you where it's going when you have a budget. A budget is a roadmap to help you avoid the mistakes that you've made in the past. It gives you direction for your present and leads you to your future. And you can set fearless money goals and accomplish them with a budget, because when you set goals for your money, you can look at your budget and see what you're working with, and you can give yourself a timeline on when and how you will achieve your goals. So first things first is, when you make the decision to budget and manage your money properly, or when you make the decision to have or experience a fearless money breakthrough, you have to have a fearless money mindset, meaning you have to get your mind right and do the inner work to break through. So budgeting starts with your mindset and the decision to change. To take control of your money, you have to understand your mindset towards money. So we're talking about your thoughts, your habits, because your thoughts create, of course. So what you think about your money is what's going to happen. That's what's going to manifest. So you have to realize that you're not a victim to how you were raised to think about money. So my story, a little example of my story. I was raised in a pretty good household. Both my parents were self-employed, and my dad, he made a lot of money in the business that he still has now. He's not making as much, but he was making a lot of money. We were good. So all I knew on my dad's end was to spend, because that's all I saw my dad do. He was a spender. He would give me allowances. He would take me shopping. He would be buying TVs and cars. And my dad was just constantly spending money. And then I had my mom who is a saver. So it didn't balance out that well, because I saw different things, like with my dad. If my mom was saving, I would see him go to her and ask her for money and stuff like that. So even though he had his own, I just saw different things. So and as I was growing up, I kept the spending mindset. I never caught on to the saving mindset. I kept the spending mindset. So that's all I did. I would spend money before I had it, or as soon as I got it in my hand, it was gone, because I'm shopping and I'm eating and I'm doing all kind of stuff with my money, and then it's gone and I have to wait until the next week for the money to come again. So that was the mindset that I gained from the way that I was raised financially. So you also have to understand that it's okay to have wealth. Don't feel guilty, because in the society we live in, I don't know, they just, make you feel guilty if you talk about money, if you want to have a discussion about money. there's nothing wrong with being wealthy. There's nothing wrong with being wealthy. So don't feel guilty about it. And having a budget will put you on the path to wealth. You can unlearn your old habits and relearn new money habits. So for example, don't spend everything before you get it in your hands. Or another example, you can stop saying, I'm broke. These are the money mindset things that we have to change. The language that we have towards our finances and our money, and also the habits that we have. So like I said, for me, because I gained that spending mindset, I would be planning out what I'm going to do with my money before I even get it. So it's already gone before I even know where it was going to go. I wasn't thinking about paying tithes. I wasn't thinking about saving, investing, doing nothing. I just wanted to go spend it on any and everything. So you also have to address all mindsets and emotions that caused you to be irresponsible with your money in the past. So whether it be fear, negativity, entitlement, blame, I dealt with entitlement as well. So because I could go to my dad for anything when I was younger, he would get it for me. So as I got older, I felt like I was entitled to buy the things that I was buying or spend the money the way I wanted to spend it. That was entitlement for me because that's how I was raised, getting anything that I wanted. So that was the mindset that I had. And then I was blaming it on my parents too, because that's all that I saw. So those are the things that we have to get rid of. So the next thing is you have to commit to the process. You must fully commit to this process and follow through. You have to understand that a fearless money mindset does not happen overnight. It's a process, it's a journey, it takes time, especially when it's something that you're not used to doing. You have to keep that in your mind that we're going to take it a day at a time, a step at a time. And you also have to stay on top of your thoughts towards your money and pay attention to your weak spots and notice your flaws. And you also have to commit to yourself and others that are connected to you, because when you manage your money properly, you might have kids, you might have a spouse, you probably can carry on these tips or the advice that you're gaining from budgeting onto other people. So you also have to think about the people that are directly connected to you while you go through this process of getting your fearless money breakthrough. Any questions so far? Or am I going too fast? Y'all can talk to me a little bit. Or am I doing good?
You're doing great, sis.
Thank you. Any questions so far?
You're doing absolutely great.
Thank you. All right. So the next step is you have to determine your why. And this is something this is very important, along with having the fearless money mindset and learning to be positive about managing your money and getting your fearless money breakthrough. You have to determine why you're doing this. So does anybody want to kind of chime in real quick and say why you want to get your money in order and put a budget in place?
I know personally for me, right now, in this season, I'm not chasing a paycheck. I'm chasing wealth. And so my money, including my credit and everything, has to line up to what I see in the future. So that's my part.
Okay, that's good. Anybody else want to share why they would like to get their money in order? Nobody else? Okay, so for me, my why is to be financially free. And when I say financially free, I don't mean it in general. I want to build generational wealth, and I want to position the generations to come. So, it could be 10 generations down the road. Like I'm trying to be like Oprah or having a Walmart or something, and it carries on for years. And I know it starts small like this to put a budget in place, because if you're not managing your money properly, then if you can't start small with a budget, and work with what you have now, then you cannot achieve the wealth of Walmart or Oprah or who else is out there? So many different people, the wealthy people, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. Those people, if you don't start small with a budget right now and you don't have a why or a vision for why you want to do this, then it can make it kind of difficult for you to keep at this, because you always have to remember what your goals are and what your vision is. So why do you want or need to budget? Questions you can ask is, do you want to become debt free or buy a home, build an emergency fund, or retire on time? Which building an emergency fund is very important. Having money to retire on is very important. If you have kids or if you're married, do you want a debt-free college fund? Do you want to leave an inheritance? Do you want to buy them a car or a house or leave generational wealth, like I was saying? But a debt-free college fund is also very important to me as well. I would like to have something in place for my kids where they have the choice to either go to college or, a full ride to college with no debt, or if they decide they don't want to go to college, they have the funds there to start a business or invest or buy a house. But I want to make sure that I have that money there for them. But when you talk about doing a debt-free college fund, you also want to make sure that your retirement is placed. So if I'm talking about leaving a certain amount of wealth for my 3 children, not 1, so that's a good amount of wealth for the 3, I have to make sure that I'm going to be retiring well as well, because even though I want my kids to be good, what's going to happen to me when I retire? I didn't set any money aside for myself, then I'm going to have to be dipping into their college fund. So that's important too. So when I'm talking about leaving for my kids, I also have to remember that I'm setting myself up for success as well. So some other questions are, do you want to buy your dream car? I know I have a few dream cars. Take a dream vacation. I have a few of those. Or do you want to start a business? And I have so many different businesses I want to start. So having a budget, not only for your personal money, but for business is important as well. So some other questions that you can ask yourself to help you break through or journal, what's your why and your vision? Why do you need to get control of your money? Where are you now financially? That's the purpose of a budget, which you will assess that before you start to budget. How did you get where you are? What good and bad habits you have that got you where you are? And then also from childhood, like I was saying, how did your parents handle your finances? I know you guys probably heard, I should have put this on here, but heard of the love languages. I've also read up on some things about like having a money language. So it all goes back to childhood. It's rooted from there. So that's why it's important to assess like what was your outlook on money as a child, because it can carry on into your adult life. So that's why you have to dig deep when you start this journey. But it takes time, so you'll be digging deep a lot to get over whatever it is that you get over, and to gain new habits, to get everything in place. So this is where the fun begins as far as your money. So later on, I have a slide where I talk about the tools and stuff that you can use to start your fearless money journey. But the most important thing you want to do first, and I do want you to remember this, is to track your spending. Because if you don't know where your money is going, you can't start to budget. So if you've never created a budget before and you have no idea where to start, then you need to learn where your money is going. And the next thing, you have to track your spending for a few weeks or even a month. It could take that long. So usually you could start with 7 days and just track how much money you spend every day Like on everything, you can't leave anything out. It doesn't matter what it is. You just have to track what it is. And then from there, you can find your problem areas and flaws. And then you can reassess your priorities. So say, for instance, you spend every day. For example, I know me. I like coffee. So I like to buy lattes and I like to buy iced coffees. I don't get ridiculous and go spend at Starbucks or anything and spend $5 on a latte. But I go to Wawa and places like that and spend $2 and $3. It could be, I've gone weeks where I've done it every day, especially if I was going to work. And or some weeks I could go every other day, 2 days out of the week. But either way, I'm spending that money. And those $2 or $3, they add up. If you think about it, by the end of the year, $3 a day, that's a lot. Like, I should have put that in here. But, that's why it's important to track your spending first before you start your journey, so you know where your money is going. And when you see what you're spending in general and how you're spending, that will show what your priority is now as far as your spending, what your problem areas are. Like for me, it's the coffee or little things. I like Michael's. So sometimes I'll just go and I'm going to Michael's today. For what? Because I got a coupon. Okay, so that means I'm telling myself I need to go spend money because I got a 40% off or 50% off coupon before it expired. So that was not planned. It wasn't in the budget, and I'm just going to spend money. So then that means that's where my priority is. I want to go buy a planner or some stuff out of Michael's, and that should not be my priority, because if I have it in my budget, then I know that I'm planning to go buy this, and I can afford to do this because it was in the plan. So for this, when you track your spending, remember this is the first thing that you need to do. And also, if you're tired of being broke or you're tired of not managing your money right, you might not be broke, but you need to track your spending first. So you can use a planner or a notebook or an app in your phone, which I will show you towards the end. I'll show you a planner and some other apps that you can use to track your spending. Anybody want to chime in on this? Talk about spending a little bit? Maybe a spending habit that you have and you would like to share?
I know for me, the same thing. I'm a coffee drinker, so I know my coffee can run me about $2.50 a day, and I'll go months buying that. And so I was just kind of, thinking about that. Like, if I took that $2.50 a day and just put it like in a piggy bank, where would I be right now, and what would I have saved? And also, when you talk about budget, and then we can buy it because we can afford to buy it, it was in the plan. A lot of times I'll impulse shop. So I could be on my way out the door, or let's say I see my favorite color. And I really do shop like that. If I see something my favorite color, or I see something that's blingy, or something that's got a lot of rhinestones, it's like an automatic. I gotta have that. So that impulsive buying can kill a budget too.
Yes, that is so true. I do that too, especially if I see something blingy. I'm like that too.
And what about sales also? Because I know that I'm a big sales shopper. So say I didn't budget, for a sale or something, and then I just go like maybe I didn't budget for clothes. I'm almost buying clothes every month, so maybe I didn't budget for this clothes. But if I go in that store and I hit that sale rack, it's a guarantee that I'm about to break at least 50 to 100 in whatever it is on that sale rack.
Yeah.
Whether it be clothes, whether it be toilet paper, whether it be dishwashing liquid, whatever it is, that catches me too.
Yes, I can definitely relate with that. Anybody else want to share? Maybe a spending habit?
For me, I'm gonna say my spending habit is gonna be food. It's funny, but I mean I like good food, so I don't eat fast food like at all. I'm not a fast food eater at all. But so what I'll do is like, say I'm on my lunch break, I'm gonna go to Chili's and sit down and have lunch at Chili's. Like maybe like 2 days out of the week, I might go to Chili's today, Olive Garden tomorrow, something like that. So I'm gonna be spending like $20, between like 15 and $20 at lunch, and then don't even think about like the weekend and things like that or whatever. So I do find myself spending like way more money than I should be on like going out to eat or whatever. And I guess I had come accustomed to it. And so now that I'm at a place in my life to where I actually have to budget, it's kind of hard to just like stop doing the things that you're accustomed to and like totally change like your whole life around and start doing other stuff. Like cooking? Who, me? But yeah, and then like some impulsive buying. I don't really too much go into stores and stuff like that. But when I do go, then I see something that I want, then I'm gonna go ahead and get it. And so yeah, so if I can keep myself out of the people's stores, then I won't do as much shopping. But food for me, I'm just one of those people. I like different stuff. I like good food, and yeah.
That's good.
Can I say something, Crystal?
Yes.
I'm reading this book called The Compound Effect, and I suggest that you all get the book and download it, whatever you need to do to help all impulses, all decision making, all choices. It will make you pay attention to everything you do in every area of your life, especially being disciplined in money, and even with what you eat, even your day-to-day habits as far as your health. It'll make you begin to track everything. It makes you very conscious, and I think that it would be a good book to add along with you all, us all going over this budget. And I know Crystal knows about the book, but I'm telling you, I'm reading this book, and those are the number one things that kill somebody from being financially secure. It's impulses and not having a tracking system. So that's good, Crystal, that you're talking about tracking, because those are the major things and components that he speaks about, is having a tracking. You should be able to track where you came from and where you're going. And if there's no tracking system in place in your life, then you don't know where you're going at all. So this is good, Crystal.
Thank you. And that's true. And then another way you can look at it too is that it's small. And because it's something that we do every day, it's the little things like a snowball. Like that snowball starts small, but as it keep rolling and adding the snow, it turns into something huge and just start crushing stuff. So it's the little things that we do like that, just that we think nothing of, that can add up to something so big. And like you were saying, Javara, like to have to commit, that's the thing though with budgeting and just getting your money in order. You got to make sacrifices, and maybe you can go down to maybe 2 days, 3 days a week, maybe start small, don't cut it out too much. Because when you try to cut out things at a big rate, that's how you mess up. So maybe if you start off by taking off a day of going out to eat lunch and take your lunch to work, and then eventually go from there. So, all right. So push past your financial limitations. And we can also look at those things, the habits that we have, the little things, like for me, buying the coffee and going to Michael's and sales. Because I know for me also, I get text messages and it's things like that. Like if you have to go on your email and unsubscribe, maybe you subscribe to some text messages for stores and they send you stuff, because Michael's get me like that all the time too. And I'd be like, oh, I'm going to Michael's today. And I didn't even wake up thinking about it, but Michael sent me a text and said, yes, you are coming to Michael's today to spend some money. So it's always good to go unsubscribe from emails. And also, if you get stop text messages or anything, that will put you in a position where you want to go spend money. So once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. And those little things are limitations to us breaking the financial barriers. So after you do the spending, I'm kind of going to run through this because I think my Zoom is timed. So fearlessly tell your money where to go. You could create a plan and stick to it. Learn to make your money work for you. Because also, as you go through this journey and this process of budgeting and getting your money under control, you have to do what works for you. Because I know when I started out with this journey, I was just reading and trying to do what everybody else was doing. And that's why I would get overwhelmed and then I would quit. And then months would go by before I pick it up again and my finances spiral out of control again. And then I'm like, oh, I need to budget. So it's always important. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, but you have to stick to it and you find what works for you. Natalie, I'm sorry. You were trying to say something? You're not muted, so I don't know if you need to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh, you can hear me now?
I can.
Okay, I think I'm messing all kind of buttons on this thing. And then by me just driving home, I was going in and out. Everything you're saying is I can identify with everything. From the entitlement, from the growing up, my parents were the same, but it was opposite. My mom was kind of a spender, but not a big spender. And my dad, he owned a construction company. So he had money, but he would always be very cheap. I mean, my dad was parsimonious. I mean, he was very cheap. So I'm like, Dad, instead of just buying you a pair of Nikes or something, why he would go to a dollar store and buy like 2 or 3 pair of tennis shoes at the dollar store. I'm like, why, when you got the money, I can see if you don't have the money. And he was like, one day, Nat, you're gonna understand. He was like, sometimes you have to buy what you need so you can get what you want.
Yes.
It didn't make sense to me. Then I'm like, but you got it. You ain't like you ain't got it. But I didn't know what all he was budgeting and planning for. And my mom never paid any bills at all. My dad he took care of her. Even unto death, he took care of her. When she passed away, when my dad passed away, my mom had like 2 or 3 cruises that he had already paid for in advance. So I saw both sides of it. And by me owning my own business, never really had a real job at all. I was just doing hair. So everything, when I first opened up my salon, when I tell you I was making every bit about $6,000 a week, no lie. And I'm like, I had money coming through my hands. It was nothing for me to spend $250 on a pair of shoes or whatever. I didn't understand budgeting then, but I also didn't understand seasons, because in the hair business, you can be up during your winter time, but when that summertime comes, people are getting braids, they're getting a haircut. So I wasn't planning for that. And after a couple of years of being open, I'm like, oh my God, where's my money going? I never budgeted. I've never been really disciplined because I had nobody to be accountable to, because it was always just me. And right now, when you're talking about tracking where your money goes, honestly, I don't spend like I used to spend. My habit was pampering myself. I would go for 3.5 years. I went to get a massage every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I'm paying $85 every Tuesday. So if I had to add an extra client to get the money for that, that's what I was gonna do. And I deal with money, hands-on cash every day. But my parents being deceased, they always crippled my sisters and their children. So now everybody comes to me since my parents aren't here. And they pull on my heartstrings and they make it seem like it's an emergency. If they don't have this, they have no other way of getting it. And every day I'm $20 to this one, $30 to that one, $50 to this one. And it's like I'm giving all of my money away. And like what I saw my dad do for my mom, that's what my husband do for me. I don't pay. I mean, I go to massages every week for 3.5 years. Me and my husband used to cruise. We go different places, just doing different stuff. But now I can't afford to do it because I'm helping everybody else. So they being there for them because I have nothing for my children. My children don't very seldom come to me for nephew. So it's like I'm taking what I have up, and sometimes I know it's wrong because I don't even care.
Oh, your phone going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
It's still breaking up a little bit.
Okay. I don't know if it's because I'm still sitting in the car, but I need some financial help, really, because it's not like I don't make money. I
Mm-hmm.
make money, but it's going fast as I can get it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll talk. We will talk. Make sure I send you my number on Facebook, and then we can talk.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish going through this before I run out of time again. I didn't even realize it. Okay, so all right, so we were on the spending. Uh-oh, come on. So now my computer wanna go slow on me now. Oh Lord. Girl. All right, so my computer wants to act funny now. I'm sorry. So I have to look at my iPad. So we were talking about this tracking the spending, and this is the most important step before you even think about starting a budget. That's where you have to start because it helps you to learn where you are and where your money is going and your priorities, like I was saying. So if you're tired of being in a situation where you never have enough money at the end of the month or your money is going too fast, then tracking your spending is definitely the number one step that you have to take. So the next step after tracking your spending, which that's a task that we're all going to do together for a week. We're going to track our spending and kind of hold each other accountable. Is fearlessly tell your money where to go. I'm still going to be trying to fix this screen while I'm going over this with y'all, but it's fearlessly tell your money where to go, and you create a plan and stick to it, and you have to learn to make your money work for you. So like I was saying, you get on Google and you start seeing all of this stuff and seeing what everybody else is doing, and it could get you overwhelmed, and then you don't know what to do yourself. So for me, I was trying to do everybody else's budget, but at the end of the day, it's all about doing what works for you. So even after you try a few, maybe you're a visual person, you need some pretty stuff to make your budget look good because we're talking money. So I know for me, I like to make it look pretty and stuff like that. So I have planners and I do different stuff, but everybody is different. So it's important to know what works for you. The next step would be your bills. And writing it out. Oh my gosh, I wish I could get this screen to work. The next step would be your bills and writing it out. So you need to write out all of your bills in order that they are in the order that they are due. And you want to include a short description, an amount, and a due date and use this as a reference. So what I recommend for this is a notebook, because when you do start your journey, you want to have a notebook to keep track of everything, along with a calendar to write down everything. So for every bill, you want to make sure you know when it's due, because sometimes we can have auto pay set up. I know that's messed me up a few times. Maybe a bill was coming up and you forgot something else was coming up, or maybe emergency, or maybe you spent the money that was needed for that bill. So this is important because your bills are a priority. So before payday, you need to determine which bills need to be paid and how much they total up to. And then you want to set up, then that's when you want to set up auto pay and check the bills that are already on auto pay. So once you write out all your bills and the due dates and the amounts, and you write those due dates, I want to say according to your pay dates, then that's when you can go from there and set everything up. So that's the next thing you want to do after tracking your spending. The next step is, uh-oh. She said it went out again. The next step is, I'm sorry, y'all. Trying to get my screen right. Bear with me, please, because even though I'm trying to read this, I want to show y'all the screen. So I'm going to try to get this back up real quick. Bear with me, please, because when I tell y'all, my computer has not been acting up on me until today. That's how it always works. Okay, I got it. Bear with me. I'm still loading it, y'all. I'm sorry, because I want y'all to see this, so that's why I'm pausing. That's why I'm quiet. But if you have a question about the bills, like like I was saying, a good thing to use is a notebook or a planner, which I can show y'all really fast. This is not gonna reload for me. So, okay, we'll keep going. Okay, so something that I use as far as like, I don't know if y'all can see this, but this is a budget planner. I posted a picture of this. Can y'all see this? Okay, so this is a planner that I bought from Michael's with a coupon. See, that's my problem, because I go when I see coupons and stuff like that, but it's really good. It's a mini planner and it fits in your purse. So you could get something like this to keep track. You got a savings goals page, and then it goes by the month, so it has the tab. So when you need to write out all of your bills, you can do that because you got the little calendar there, and then it goes by the weeks. So I think that is something really good to have as far as track, like writing down all your bills and track and keeping track, so then you know where your money needs to go. So once again, that's important, so you can tell your money where to go. So the next thing would be spending. Tracking your spending. Bear with me, you guys, again. So after your bills are paid, you want to determine how much money you have left over for spending. That's when you can spend after you paid your bills. So your spending is not just free money. It also includes the groceries, the gas, eating out, travel, clothing, etc. So that's where your spending money goes. And like we were saying before, the spending part of your budget can make or break your budget. The spending part can make or break your budget. That's why keeping track of your spending is so important. So the next step would be tracking your debts and then savings. So as far as debts, you also want to write this out, maybe in your notebook or in a planner. Like student loans, for me, I have student loans, or maybe you have credit cards, medical bills. You want to put in your mind that eventually you will start paying off your debt. So that's another thing we use called the snowball effect, where you can start with the small debts as you get your budget in order and as you get your finances in order. You can start with maybe a debt
When I found that lost my calendar,
that could be $50 to $100.
For what?
Raven, can you mute your phone, please? So your debts, you don't want to avoid your debts. So when you pay off your debts, you are free. So like I was saying, you want to start with something small. So it could be $100 credit card bill, or I don't know, $50 utility bill, or something really small. You start there and you allocate money. So maybe you want to put $5 towards that $50 debt until it's paid. And how the snowball effect works is once you paid off that $50 and you put those $5 towards that until it's paid off, then it rolls over to the next debt. So if you had a $50 debt, it goes to $100, or maybe a $100 debt. You want to roll that same amount that you was paying on that $50 over to the $100. So meaning that you're going to be putting extra. So say you have to pay $15 a month until that $100 is paid off. Until that $100 is paid off, you will add the $5 you were paying on the previous debt to that. So then that makes it $20 to pay off that $100 debt. And then it goes from there. So if you're paying $20 on that $100, the next debt could be $25. And that helps you pay off the debt faster. This is not an area you want to avoid, because debt is always the area where everybody wants to avoid. They just want to think about building the wealth and saving and budgeting, but not remembering that the debt has to be paid, because you're not financially free until you're debt free. So that always has to be in the back of your mind. You also have to remember how you got into debt. It was easy to get into debt. Of course, it's going to be hard to get out, but you have to commit to wanting to get out of debt and being free. That's the breakthrough right there. Because I just think about the day that I reached the point of paying off my debt. Like, I'm paying the last few dollars of my last debt. It could be my student loans, because that's my biggest debt. So say I see myself paying that last payment and being officially debt free. And that's a part of the why, and that's also a part of the vision that you have to have when you're going through this journey. So don't be fearful of your debt, and paying off your debt will make you fearless. So you also have to remember that it takes time to pay off your debt, just the same way it takes time to get used to having a budget. It takes time to get used to committing. It takes time to relearn new things, pretty much, because when you're trying to get rid of old habits, the old habits always feel good, but when you know you have to get rid of it and learn new things, change is always hard. But when you're changing for the good, you have to stick to it and stay focused. So the next thing is your savings. So You want to make sure you have an emergency fund. That's a priority. So you might not, the recommended amount of emergency fund is from 3 to 6 months. But you might not be in a place where you can save 3 to 6 months of all of your expenses. So maybe you want to start out with having at least $500 to $1,000. It all depends on what you can afford to do, what's comfortable for you, what works for your family. It could be $100. You feel comfortable with having $100 in savings. It's all the emergency fund. It's always about having something to fall back on for when emergency happens. So say you need a new tire, or something happens with your car, your engine, or the kids mess themselves up physically or something, and it causes you to have to go into your pockets. You don't want to have to go get a loan. You don't want to have to max out your credit card, payday loans. You want to say something? You raising your hand? I think you're muted too. Okay. If you're trying to talk, you gotta unmute yourself. Okay, no. All right, so it's doing whatever is comfortable for you as far as the emergency fund. It's the backup, and that's what you want to fall into. You don't want to have to fall into more debt when emergencies come up. So as you pay off your debt, like we said, starting with the small debts, you can slowly but surely increase your savings in small amounts as well. So say you start with that small bill and you're paying $5 a month until it's paid off, that $50. You could be putting $5 in a savings account as well. It's small, but it's going to snowball and it's going to add up. So as you pay off debt, you can increase your savings. So the ultimate goal, like I said, is to have 3 to 6 months of expenses that will cover you in any case of emergency. And that's always a good cushion to have. It feels good to know that you can have 3 to 6 months of expenses if something was to happen, if you lose your job or any type of emergency come up. So I had this savings plan picture on here. I'll post it in the group of a 52-week saving plan that everybody could start with, because the first week it starts with $2, starting a savings account with $2, and it doubles every week. So it goes $2 the first week, $4 the second week, $6 the third week, and so forth and so on until you get to the end of the year. You will have $2+ grand in your account. So starting small is always important, because it's the small changes that makes the big difference. So some tools that you can use to jumpstart your budget breakthrough. Let me see if I can share my screen again. I'm trying to be quick because I do want to show y'all a couple things that you can use online. If you're a visual person, but even if you feel like you don't want to write anything down, like I know Javar, I don't know if she got back on, but she was saying the other day that she have a problem taking notes. So if you want to use apps, you can do that. I'm just going to show y'all real quick. See all the tabs.
App freeze up. What if your app freeze up?
Who app?
Then, like if you download the app and the app doesn't work and you're trying to, the best way to track is to write it down.
Right.
Because if your app freeze up on you and you can't get in there and you need to do something, then you're gonna be roasted.
That's
so
true.
We still need to get back to piece of paper and a pen.
Yes, that is true. So one thing I do want to show y'all, if y'all can see this, I don't know if you heard of mint.com, but this is a really good app. It's an app, and of course you can log in on your computer. It gives you your credit score. You can connect your bank accounts. It helps you find savings. And it puts the budget in place for you. You just have to plug everything in and go from there. So just gonna show y'all real fast. This was an account I created today, so I don't have any numbers or anything in this, but just to show y'all real fast, this is a good one to have to start with. But like Pastor Shonda was saying, you want to make sure you write it down anyway, because at the end of the day, the pen and paper will always be there. It will always be there. So this is pretty much it. You can put your cash, like your bank accounts, you can link. And so when you get direct deposits or anything, you can just come right on here. You plug in all your bills right here, and it can automatically show you like where your money is gonna go. These are your budget tabs right here. I know I'm going fast, but it has categories and everything for you to create a budget. So it goes from, I don't know, from your car payment all the way down to kids' diapers and stuff like that. That you can plug in anything, and if it's something on here that you don't see, you can plug it in yourself. So this kind of simplifies things. I use this as well, and it helps me out even though I use a planner too. So it's mint.com that you can use. It's a free app. You don't have to pay anything. It helps you set up goals and trends and transactions and investments, and it gives you a lot of good tips and advice. So it's really good to use. And other tools that I recommend that you use is the planner that I showed you. I bought that planner from Michaels, like I said, but you can use any planner. You can use any notebook, but as long as you know where your money is going, you know when your bills are due, you're good. You can use a calendar as well, physical calendar or Google Calendar. You can set up reminders about your bills. Just, it's all about doing what works for you. So, okay, so, and that's pretty much it. You are fearlessly breaking financial barriers. So I had some other information on here. Start small. Small steps make the biggest difference. So like I said, it starts with your mindset and just being positive about this journey, remaining positive, and remembering your why and why you're doing this, and remembering the goals that you want to achieve, because at the end of the day, nobody else is going to do it for you. I was reading in a book where it started out saying you can't pay anybody to do your push-ups for you. So it will be the same way with your managing your money and getting your breakthrough. You can't pay anybody to get your breakthrough for you. Yeah, at the end of the day, you could pay somebody to manage your money for you, but it's still all about you at the end of the day, your mindset, how you feel about it, what you're gonna do about it. It's all about your actions and what you decide to do, because no matter what, time is going to be going by. Time is not waiting for us. So even if you say, I'm not going to do it today, I'm going to do it tomorrow or next week or the following week, and it turns into months and years and stuff like that, time is still going. 3 years later, you're still in the same place. Your credit's still jacked. You still don't have any money saved. You're still not building that wealth. You're not investing. You're still in the same place 3 years later. So it's all up to you to make up your mindset, make up your mind and do what you need to do and be positive. Commit and focus on the end and your vision and everything that you want to do. This is just the beginning. So some other things that I wanted to share that also could help you with this journey, which I will share as well, is just staying motivated and connected, of course, to people that can hold you accountable and that are looking to do the same things. You can also you can listen to podcasts. There's so many different podcasts out there that you can listen to get information. But like I say, you want to be cautious of how much information you take in at one time, because there's so much resources out there that you don't want to get overwhelmed. So it's all about taking it a step at a time. You can watch YouTube videos. You can go on Pinterest. There's different type of budgets that you can do to help you stay motivated and stay fearless about your journey. Um, and that is it, you guys. Some products and services that I offer with Fearless Money is insurance. I am a licensed life and health insurance, so I do that. And that's something important to include in your budget, because as you work on gaining wealth and doing different things to get where you want to be financially, at the end of the day, you are taking a risk, but you are taking a big risk if you're not covering yourself and your money, even being properly insured health-wise. So even having the proper health insurance, you want to make sure you double check your health insurance plan, because you might not, there's no health insurance plan out there that covers you fully. So maybe you, I don't know, you break your wrist or something. You go to the hospital, then you realize that, oh, my insurance didn't cover that x-ray. That has happened to me plenty of times. Or a sonogram or x-ray or something. I will always get a bill in the mail because my insurance didn't cover it. So you need something like supplemental insurance, or in the car industry is like gap insurance. You want something that is going to fill in the gap. So you might think that you have all the insurance that you need, but you don't. So that can affect your finances as well. But as far as life insurance, and life insurance is not all about death anymore. There are living benefits to life insurance. Like, I believe I mentioned this at the birthing retreat. You can use, money from your life insurance policy to fund projects. Maybe you have a business idea, a college fund for your kids. So it's not all about death benefits anymore. I also offer credit repair services. I will be fully launching that in January. And also, I want you guys to look out for the Fearless Money Mindset toolkit that'll be coming soon, and some books and resources and things like that. So I'm excited about this journey. I'm excited about these financial breakthroughs. I mean, money is everything. We need money to do everything, and we have to learn how to leverage it and use it properly, and do what we need to do for me to glorify God at the end of the day. I know I don't want to be in debt anymore, and I know I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be in lack. I want to be abundant and manifest. So that is it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry for the difficulties, but I thank you guys for holding me accountable. So you can chime in and let me know what you think. I got 9 minutes, y'all. 9 minutes. So any feedback, anything you guys would like to say, you just got to keep it short.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much, Crystal, for your obedience. I've been waiting for this, and it really has blessed me. The information, I will take heed to it. But I was listening to what Natalie was saying. And as business owners, it is very difficult for us to save because everybody sees us as a walking ATM. But one thing that I'm in the process of doing, I tried the 52-week money challenge, and it works well. But then I get somebody that call and say their lights finna get cut off, or they need to pay their car note or whatever. And I take money out of that and say, oh, I'm gonna put it back, and I never put it back in. So I find that opening a savings account that you have no access to, no card, and it's not even in the same town that you live in, that helps me better with saving.
That's good. I didn't mention that, but that is good to have. Don't have it in the same bank if you're not disciplined enough, and you find yourself transferring money from your savings account back over to your checking. Yeah, so that is good. Anybody else? You want to say anything or chime?
I went like it was about a good 45-minute drive to another bank. And when they make it seem like it's such a need and they don't know how they're gonna get it, I'll take the drive for them. And I need to stop, because I do realize that my money is connected to my heart. And when they know how to pull on those heartstrings and I'm a giver by nature. I'm just a flat out giver by nature. But when I have to understand that I can't always make everyone else's emergency my emergency, or make their priority my priority. And I'm gonna have to learn to do that even more so.
That's good. Yeah. You do use a lot of emotion when it comes to finances. Some people do, I know. So it can affect you in the long run, even though you're doing good at the moment, but it can affect you later on. So anybody else want to chime in, say something? Got 6 minutes. You can give me some feedback. Let me know how I did. Would you guys like for me to do another one? Maybe talking about something else? Well, I'm going to. So maybe you can let me know some topics that you would like to hear about.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. This is me. So I thank you for pushing me and making me do this, because I wouldn't be.
You got it. This is what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Trying to work at Geico.
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I got 5 minutes left, so I guess I'll just end it here. I thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm upset because I had the rest of my slides that I wanted to show y'all, but it's all good. I've had so many different things come at me in so many different directions today, so I knew I had to do this and push through this today. So it's on now, so ain't no stopping now. So I'm excited. I really enjoyed it, and I thank y'all for your support. I thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that it was a blessing to you guys, because I know on my end, I wasn't stressing out about it, but I was trying to make sure that I didn't put too much information in it, or too, not enough information, but I had just enough for the first one. So I really enjoyed this. So I thank y'all for tuning in. And I will keep y'all updated. Your task, that's the thing that I was going to share. I'll post this as well. But your task is to get a notebook specifically for this journey, a planner. And I do suggest that you look at the Mint app or any other app to use to to help you put a budget in place. And the last thing is to start the 7-day spending tracking. So we're going to track what we spend every day, all day, for a week. And if you feel like once we go for a week, then you can determine if you need to go for another week or a month. That'll help you really recognize your habits, because there's one thing that you could do in 1 week of tracking your spending that you don't do in the next week. It could be something totally different. So it might be the habits like that where you spend money a certain time of the month on certain things, but because you didn't track it in the first week, you miss it. So maybe that's why it's good to do it for a month, just to see where your money goes for a full month before you really dive deep into a budget. So that's our other task. So I'll be posting all of this in the group, and I'll be a resource. I'm always here. You can inbox me. I'll put my number there, and we can definitely go from there. But that's our task, is to track our spending for a week. I don't know how comfortable you are with sharing numbers, but we're all sisters. We're all a group, so nothing leaves outside of us, of course. So we all should be good with that, especially if you want the accountability and the uplifting that you need. If not, then just, I don't know, feel free to reach out to me or somebody that you can trust and depend on to talk about your finances. So good night. It is 9:30. I love you all. I thank you all for tuning in, and it's time to get fearless.
I'm not a sister.
Oh, sorry. And my husband, y'all, he tuned in. So good night, y'all. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night, night, sister.
Good night. Thank you.
Mhm.
How you